So as we have new people joining, I just wanted to announce, and you should have a prompt that comes to you, that we're going to be recording this session. It's just going to be easier for us to take notes if it's being recorded, so that we can make sure all the questions are being answered, and if we have to refer back to anything else, we are able to get all the answers captured. It's so nice to see everyone.
If my computer weren't running on Steam, I could probably see you guys, but I have to just do it by telephone.
Oh, I see.
So as of now, everyone, as they're coming in, they're unmuted. But once we get started, we'll probably get going. I will introduce our parking services representative, and then he's got the list of questions from people who submitted online. And at the end, if we have any other Q&A, I will unmute anyone. So I just ask that if you have questions, you can write them down for later or use the chat feature. This is our first time doing a Zoom, and I'm not sure what everyone's comfort level is, but you're more than welcome to type a question in the chat feature. If not, once I have the end of the session, I can unmute people. It just, with people having feedback and possible side conversations, it can get kind of chaotic. So with that, I'm going to introduce Brian Hope. He is with us from Parking Services, and he has a list of all the questions that people have submitted. So again, I just want to thank you, Brian, for being here. He is a Bruin Commute Programs Operations Manager, if I have that title right. And he can answer any and all of your questions about parking this year, and hopefully we can make the transition to the eBruin online as easy as possible that we can for our retirees. So Brian, again, thank you, and let's begin.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Hope. I just want to first make sure everyone can hear me. Yeah, I'm just looking for a thumbs up or something from as many people as possible, just so I know. Perfect, there, you can hear me. Been in plenty of these meetings where there's a lot of confusion or like muted people, and it's difficult at times. So again, my name is Brian Hope. I wanted to let you know I'm the Bruin Commuter Programs Operations Manager. A little bit of background, I've been with UCLA now for probably close to 14 years if I include my student years. I'm actually an alumni of the campus. When I graduated, I started working here, and I've been there ever since. So I found a home with UCLA. So, and I know a lot of you view UCLA as a home yourselves. So I really appreciate everything that all of you have done in relation to the campus, because people like me wouldn't still be there if it wasn't for all of you. So I wanted to start off with that. And I would be happy to answer all the questions that you have. Aisha, thank you for getting me a list of questions to start off with. I'm just going to go down the list of questions that were provided. Some of these questions are duplicate, so the same answer may be said more than once. So, and then at the end, I'll answer any other questions you may have related to sort of the transition to ePermit. The first question we have is, because of COVID-19, we may not be able to come to campus as frequently. Will you offer another option for reduced days or costs? As of right now, daily parking is going to become available through the Bruin ePermit portal. So you'll be able to purchase by the day, similar to what you would do with a Ridecard, as an example. So customers who need to buy by the day can log into the system, buy daily parking. Rates are not changing this coming year as of now. So any rate changes will be communicated, but at least at the start of this fiscal year, everything's going to stay the same price that it already is. So if you are eligible for discounted daily parking because of the Ridecard, that's going to stay in effect. That doesn't change. The next question we have is, previously, if you wanted to pay by credit card, you would have to go to the parking services office. Will that be the same this year? So one of the beauties of the Bruin ePermit portal is you don't actually have to come in person. Now, this is especially relevant given everything going on with COVID-19. It's an online portal that allows you to pay with credit card or e-check for your permit, or frankly, for each day of parking if you have a daily ride card. So you'll be able to pay either that one-time fee, or you'll be able to pay each time you need to park through the portal, which means you don't have to have that in-person interaction with the kiosk or with our office or our lobby. So it actually makes you safer in that regards moving forward. The next question we have is, how do you use your permit if you're driving a different car to campus? And can you register more than one car? So, love this question because the answer is yes, you can have more than one car. You can have up to 3 cars on each permit. There is a caveat. You can only have 1 car on campus at a time. So we have what's called license plate recognition technology on our parking enforcement vehicles and on campus in some of our parking structures that basically say the first car on campus with that permit is the valid permit holder. The second car, if there are 2 people parking at the same time, does not have a valid permit and may be cited. So it wouldn't be like if you have a V Blue and you have 2 cars on there, one of you gets to park in structure 8 and the other one gets to park in structure 9. Whoever gets scanned first is the valid permit holder, and whoever gets scanned second may get a citation. But let's say any day of the week, you may choose a different car to take to campus. You have that freedom. You just drive, park. So it makes it much easier. I know I do that myself sometimes back when I was actually able to go to the campus for work. So the next question is, an individual said that they retired in 2014 and they asked how they're going to be able to renew their ride card, and is information going to be sent by mail? So the answer is actually yes. We are sending out instructions via mail. I apologize for the delay. Honestly, I am going to throw the COVID-19 situation under the bus. It has upended all of our lives, and we are working to make sure we get everything out. We actually got final approval to mail everything out just recently. So working with mail and docs on campus, instructions about permit renewal and ride card renewal and next steps are all going to be communicated via mail. So that should be sent out very soon. Which leads to the next question, which was, how may I submit for renewal of Bruin ePermit? on the instructions will be a hyperlink to submitting for a permit renewal. So we're going to collect information from you on how you would like to, if you would like to renew your permit, sorry. And we're also going to provide instructions on how to get you set up with that, how to create an account, what your next steps are. All of that is going to be fully detailed in that communication that is mailed out. The next question that we have here on this this initial list was, will we be able to pay for parking over the phone, and can anyone pay with check or cash? So unfortunately, we are not able to accept over the phone payments as in like a phone call. We do accept it if it comes from like a smartphone and you're on the portal. So if you pay for parking on the portal, it doesn't matter if it's a computer or your smartphone, that's fine. But over the phone, talking to a person payment, we're not able to do that at this time. We are still going to have we technically will still have the ability for people to come into the lobby and pay, but full disclosure, I do not know when our lobby is going to be open because of the COVID-19 situation. So should you need your parking before the campus is back open for normal operations, purchasing a permit would have to go through the ePermit portal. The next question is, as a retiree on recall, I pay for parking each time I have to work. Sometimes on days I work, I also have to go to the medical center and can't park there as a retiree because parking is limited to 1 permit per day. This doesn't seem fair. After all, I won't be parking for free. So as of right now, the parking privileges are being upended, for lack of a better phrase, again, because of the situation. So parking in the medical area is being very closely examined, and there may be changes in policy on who's allowed to park there, what privileges are allowed to go there. So all of that is under review, and any changes will be found on our website and will be communicated. We do include hyperlinks to our permit privileges information, and as soon as any updates are announced, it will be on our website and will be communicated to everyone. I will say though that if you have a daily permit, you're pretty much restricted to the lot that it is assigned to as part of your daily permit. If you are a V Blue or another permit holder, there will be a degree of mobility that you will have, and there should be no changes to those privileges for now, but that may not be true. As I said before, some things are under review due to the COVID-19 situation. Is a UCLA logon necessary for access to the Bruin ePermit system? If so, what do I do if I don't have one? So it actually isn't required to have a UCLA logon to log into the Bruin ePermit system. There are 2 different ways to log into the system. One way is through your UCLA logon. So if you're a recent retiree or a recent emeritus, and you have one and you know your password and you know your account, you can actually go through that login process to access the system. If you don't have that, you can actually create what's called a guest account on the system. That guest account associates a custom ID to who you are. And then you would provide our office with that information, and we will then update that account to be eligible for whichever permit you're eligible for. Whether that is a Brown permit, a V Blue, an emeritus, all all of that will be addressed, and then you'll be able to log in with that account to purchase your permit moving forward. Can I use a daily Ridecard permit for my doctor's appointment at the medical center? Where can I park? So again, your daily permit through the Bruin ePermit portal would be assigned to a specific lot that is your choice. So when you log into the Bruin ePermit portal, for daily parking, you will have a list of options of available facilities. And you would choose whichever facility works best for you. Full disclosure, there is space limitations for the amount of daily permits that can be purchased for each facility. Those numbers are not hard or fixed. Those fluctuate throughout the year because space on campus fluctuates throughout the year. The start of quarters tend to be busier than the end of quarters. Fall quarter tends to be busier than winter quarter, and space impacts to campus reflect as such. And unfortunately, our space demand as a result is very difficult to manage at times. And we do try our best to try to manage it as well as we can. So that's why we don't have, we can't guarantee any solid number on the number of daily permits available in any one facility. But we do offer options for customers to use, or options available for customers to choose for daily parking. So the next question is specific to, related to that actual question, and they were asking about Structure 1. So just so everyone is aware, currently right now, Structure 1 is heavily impacted due to the COVID-19 situation, specifically because we originally were doing stack parking inside of that structure. We are no longer stack parking there as of right now. And we do not know if stack parking is going to come back. Because we're losing stack parking for the short term in Structure 1, that affects our ability to offer that facility for daily parking. So we can't, we already have a certain amount of permit holders that park there at peak times. And if we're not able to stack, that means we may actually have more permit holders in space, and that's not a great situation to be in. So one of the ways that we have to manage that is we have to limit the amount of daily parking into that facility as a result. I know that's not an answer that everyone would necessarily be pleased about. Sorry that is the case, but it is something that will, like I said before, is constantly under review. We are constantly looking at how can we manage our space? Where can we add space? Where do we need to take space away? It is a nebulous situation, and it changes often throughout the year. And the final question is about that subject matter again, about what determines the space available for purchase. And there's no easy answer to that. It's based on the space counts at peak time during the day. It's based on the permit sales that have occurred inside of that facility with permit holders and various other customers. It's based on the impacts as a result to other situations. A good example would be, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but we had a major structural issue occur in parking structure 18. Well, when that occurred, we had to move out 50% of the people that parked in structure 18 to alternative locations, which was 1, 8, 9, and 2. As a result, we have much more impacts in structure 1, 8, 9, and 2 as a result. So all of those drive the decision-making into what space is available for purchase on a daily basis and what is not. Now, as I've been talking, there have been a couple of other questions that have come in. And the first one is, from Dave. I went to the website earlier today and it appeared that the renewal online was not available yet. When will it be available? The renewal online will be available, let's call it in a little bit of a stage. The first step would be when you receive it in the mail, you'll have instructions on next steps in terms of creating an account or submitting a survey on whether or not you even want to renew your permit or not. That's the first step. The second step sort of lives in our office, which is updating those accounts to be eligible to purchase their permit through the Bruin ePermit system. That most likely will happen sometime in the near future. Unfortunately, I can't give a solid date because right now we're still waiting for guidance from campus administration as to when we can actually sell parking again. One of the things that happened recently was parking effectively more or less got shut off due to COVID-19. So for a lot of our like permit holders and students and staff, it just wasn't an option available anymore for a lot of them because of the situation. And we ended up turning on a lot of free temporary parking for some of those customers. But the situation is changing. We are waiting for guidance. And as soon as we get guidance, that'll help drive the dates of when some of these things will need to be done by and drive sort of the decision and what information we can provide. I apologize that I couldn't give you something more solid, but this is the information we have at this time. What about combining retiree permits with handicap parking? Okay, this question is from Judy. So just so everyone is aware, if you have a valid permit with our parking system, so with a Bruin ePermit, whether that's daily or a long-term permit or another option, and you're displaying a handicap placard, you are allowed to park in any valid parking stall at UCLA, like the campus parking areas. So that's the permit areas. So structure 1, structure 9, structure 8, any valid parking stall. The obvious exclusion to that are under the CVC code, like red curbs, as an example. You can't park at a red curb with a handicap placard, things of that sort. But if you have a valid permit, an active valid permit, and a placard displayed, you can park in any valid stall, and it just needs to be a valid parking stall. Regarding having more than one car on the permit, say I park at campus at 9 a.m., stay for 1 hour, leave at 10. My license plate is scanned while I'm there. Now, assume my wife parks on campus 1 p.m. and the license plate is scanned. Does the system register that I am no longer on campus? Will my wife be subject to citation? This message is from Art. The system does eventually reset. So I don't know the exact time frame, but 4 hours, generally speaking, yes. Just like previously, if you leave campus and then come back to campus and there's a significant gap in time, you'll be fine. If it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, probably not. But if we're talking 4 hours with confidence, you would more than likely be safe for a different vehicle to be parking on campus at that time. Carol asks, if I get to structure 1 before 8 a.m. and have a blue permit, will I be able to park for an hour or so for medical appointments? I would refer you to the parking privileges. Again, structure 1 is a little bit in a unique situation and everything is very dynamic and under review right now. Any changes to the privileges will be communicated, and any changes for the privileges will be indicated on the transportation website and on the permit privileges. So I would defer to look that up. just to be on the safe side, before parking at structure 1. That would be my recommendation. Next question, Rhonda, when can I expect to receive the mailing about the ePermit parking? You should expect it hopefully sometime next week. I'm sort of at the behest of the U.S. Postal Service on that one. I don't know if I can speed up the Postal Service at all right now. That's outside of my jurisdiction and control. But the mailing is going out, and you will receive it soon. And as I said, it'll provide you instructions on what to do, and if you need assistance, how to contact us for to get additional assistance. Just so everyone is aware, our operation is currently working remotely, and we do have customer service representatives that are answering phone calls and answering emails. And we do have people available for chat. So should you require assistance, please feel free to reach out, and they will provide you as much information as they can and assist you however much they can, so to help facilitate getting you set up for this ePermit process. The next question is from Rachel. Will there be a physical permit? No, there will not. So just so everyone is aware, last year, I can't remember the exact number, but eliminating physical permits for faculty and staff saved somewhere around 10,000 pounds of paper, and then another few thousand pounds of plastic. Like it's a very environmentally unfriendly item, having a parking permit. So to go ePermit is very sustainable moving forward, and we are very happy with how it rolled out with faculty and staff, because the conversion went fairly well for most faculty and staff. So not having a physical permit, ultimately not that bad of a thing in our experience. Can we park in X stalls with a handicap permit? Yes. If you have a valid active permit and you are displaying a handicap placard, California Vehicle Code is very clear on this. You are allowed to park in any valid stall. And I stress parking stall, not a zone, not like a passenger loading zone, or a yellow loading zone, but a parking stall. Yes, you absolutely are allowed to park in any valid parking stall as long as the placard is displayed and you have an active permit. Thank you for the question, Maggie. Next question is from CK. What is the process to apply for a Ridecard? The Ridecard will be similar to the regular ePermit process from the perspective of it'll be through the ePermit portal. The instructions that we're mailing out to everyone will tell everyone how to sign up for this, how to create an account, how to submit their interest in having their product moving forward. And then we'll do our magic on our side so that you'll be set up for this moving forward. And then we will provide you instructions on how to purchase parking daily through the portal, through the ePermit system. Okay, and next question was, thank you, Aisha, for passing this question along. As a returning customer, if we decide not to purchase a permit this year because of COVID and not wanting to come to campus, will we automatically be on the list the following year? I'm not sure I understand.
I think this one, from the wording of it, it was sounding like they are letting their permit lapse. Mm-hmm. Because it's difficult to get a permit. If they lapse this year, how are they able to get one next year?
I currently do not see any reason why not. This process is far simpler to manage, frankly, moving forward. So, and especially given the situation, if you don't feel comfortable and you don't want to buy a permit, you don't want to come to campus, don't spend the money. It's okay. Like, it should be fine moving forward. And frankly, if you want to convert to a Ridecard, so you just buy by the day, that might be a viable option rather than actually owning a permit. Because then you just log into the portal, buy for the days that you need, and then you're good to go.
This next emailed question kind of sounds like they were wanting to go online now to create an account, but because I think you said there's nothing to buy, there's no way to sell parking now, so there's not an option for them to buy anything. So parking is essentially free on campus right now.
I wouldn't say essentially free.
Okay.
It's a little complicated.
Okay.
So it's parking's in a weird situation right now, for lack of a better phrase. It's, if you need to come to campus, like if you go to Structure 1, you don't have a permit, parking enforcement is enforcing inside Structure 1 right now. I just need to make that clear, make sure everyone's aware of that. They're actively going through there and they're warning people that don't have a permit. So you do need a permit to park on campus, but we weren't charging people like a lot of customers for parking on campus if they had campus business. And this was mostly directed at people working in the medical area. So that because a lot of them were part of the COVID response, they were able to buy weekly permits inside the medical, not the medical area, inside of Structure 1, Structure 8, and some other locations, specifically due to COVID-19 response. Now, things are changing, and I don't know anything for certain. We're waiting for guidance ourselves. I do know that parking enforcement right now is actively patrolling Structure 1. They are warning people who do not have a permit, and they are warning people that are cross parking outside of their area without a cross parking permit. So if you have, let's say I, as a permit holder, I'm listed in Structure 8. If I park in Structure 1, I would receive a warning. Now, there is a limit to the number of warnings you can get before you get cited. It's for not having a permit, it's 2 warnings. You get 2 warnings, and after that, you're subject to citation. If you have a permit, you're just not getting your cross parking permit, then it's 3 warnings as of right now. In that, again, that's specific to Structure 1. I just want to make that clear. Okay, I think we had 2 more questions come in. Is the Ridecard the same as the ePermit portal? I was hoping to use a physical Ridecard at the kiosk. So the daily permit in effect is the same. I need to let everyone know that permit sales at the kiosk are not an option anymore. So there is no more daily permit sales at the kiosk. So there won't be anyone, you won't be able to stop by the kiosk and show a Ridecard and purchase your daily permit anymore, unfortunately. The kiosks are actually going to become more information only. They're no longer eligible to take payment. A lot of that has to do with audit compliance and making sure that we're what's the phrase? That we are not PCI compliance. Forgive me, I'm forgetting the exact technical term, but it's basically that we're not allowed to collect payment in person at an information booth like that anymore. So the information booth, especially the one on Westwood Boulevard, is strictly an information booth. If you need a permit, you will have to go through the Bruin ePermit portal. Next question, since we will be notifying parking of our decision to renew for the academic year, will we be individually notified as our account will be updated after? Yes, you will each be individually notified when your account has been updated. So when you submit, let's say you're creating a guest account. If you create a guest account and you provide us that account number, you will receive a notification when we update the account to make it eligible to buy a permit or a Ridecard or whatever you're eligible for moving forward. Next question from Janice. What if I don't receive next week's mailing about registering for ePermit? Who do I contact? I would recommend calling our general line. As I said before, we still have staff available that are working remotely to answer the phones and answer questions. We also have staff answering emails. We do have a chat feature on our Ask Transportation. So as I'm sure everyone is aware, like, you know, technology has exploded in use now. Everyone kind of has to live on their computers. That chat feature is something that we actually really recommend because it does get to a live person. And that person does respond to the chats and would provide instructions and can link you to online instructions that we have and possibly videos that we have for what you need to do. Are you able to park in the Jewel Stein lot with an ePermit? So unfortunately, no. The Jewel Stein and medical center areas are considered visitor parking only, specifically medical visitor parking only. So it is not part of the ePermit system. Those are a pay on exit system as of right now. So you basically have to enter in, you pull a ticket, and you pay on exit. It does not incorporate into the Bruin ePermit system. However, all of our other facilities are part of the ePermit system. So structure 1, 8, 9, 18, 2, so on and so forth. Those are all ePermit related structures that are eligible for ePermit parking. Is the rate next year going to be $150 for the year, $13 a day, $11 for handicap? So the $150, yes, and the $13 daily, yes. I believe we have already transitioned the handicap permit to $13. So, but I need to double check that. Just so everyone is aware, handicap parking was eventually going to be the same price as the daily permit. So there was just a daily permit. So the placard ultimately is what gets you your mobility and your access to park in other locations. And then it's just a permit, a daily permit that you are utilizing that makes you eligible to park on campus. Is the guest permit the same number to be used every year? Do you need to register each year for a new guest account? So once you create a guest account, you're done. The guest account number that gets assigned to you would be your guest account number or your account number. Sort of like your university ID number, it's the number assigned to you that lives with you. So in our system, you would just need to know that number. Good practice would be to write down that number somewhere. Make sure you have a password that you know. I don't recommend writing those down because that's bad data security practice. But it's your account. Now, if you have a hard time logging into your account, please reach out to us because we can assist with helping you get access to the account or help with resetting the password or providing other instructions. And if we need to go down the route of creating a new account, we can, but reach out to us first. It's so we can help troubleshoot it initially, so that way we can get you back into your account. What number is the general line? I should know this off the top of my head because I've said it so many times.
I have 310-794-7433.
That's it. Yes. Perfect. That is our general line. And again, that'll ring into our call center, which currently is working remotely. And we do have people staffing that phone. And we are not going to change that for the foreseeable future. And just so everyone is aware, our phones are active from 7:30? I want to say 7:30 until 5 p.m. So we have people manning the phones during that time frame. Is there a way to use my current permit in the medical center now? I have been paying $4.13 daily rate.
I think they might just had a typo, just meant the $13 daily rate.
Okay. So sorry, give me a second.
Okay.
So as we mentioned before, medical visitor parking is considered a separate parking area. So it is any permit on the ePermit system is not considered eligible in that area for as of now, just so everyone is aware. But again, please, I recommend checking the privileges. A lot of things are in flux. I really recommend everyone looking that up. I apologize that I can't give a solid answer on that regards. But
I just want to confirm that I'm hearing this right. So no retiree or eMeriti permit is valid in the medical center. Because
sorry,
I know
specifically meant daily. Sorry, my apologies. Specifically daily. Daily ePermits are not valid there. So because the question was related again to that $13 daily parking. So those are not valid. The retiree and eMeriti permits, the privileges, again, please review them. I don't have a solid definitive answer if there's going to be changes. If there are, they will be communicated on the long-term permits.
because as of now, I believe it's for the permits, they're 3 hours allowed.
Mhm.
So that's for those with an eMeriti permit or a V Blue permit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. So V-Blue and eMeriti permits do get 3 hours for the remainder of this fiscal year for sure. But again, the situation is so dynamic and things have changed so much. I can't fully commit to anything, and I apologize for that. And any changes will be communicated. Maggie asked a question about when can we anticipate structure 18 being open, and is E also closed, or can we park in CHS? So structure 18 is partially opened. So about half of the structure is open at this time. The other half is not. So, and I don't have an update that I can provide regarding whether or not the second half will reopen. Frankly, we have structural engineers and a construction company going through there, evaluating things there, and they've been doing so for months now. And it even in the last couple weeks, things have changed. So I can't tell you when that's going to reopen because I don't know. But Lot E is open, and CHS, like the visitor area, so the underground part where it's pay station parking, is open as well. So those are not closed as of right now. There is only just 2 specific tiers of structure 18 that are closed. I already have an account in the ePermit system. So many questions are coming in. It's causing my thing to jump. Will I keep the same account number? Yes, if you already have an account in the ePermit system and you would like to use that account, that's fine. You can utilize that login, your Bruin login, to access that account. We do ask that you, when you receive the mailing, that you submit the indication that you would like to do so. So as part of the renewal process, we have 2 separate options available. One is creating a guest account and then renewing on the guest account, and the other one is utilizing your Bruin login account, and then we can update that so that you'll be eligible for your eMeriti retiree permit. But again, it comes down to submitting the questionnaire that will be linked in the mailing. Is the parking password different from UCLA payroll? So I think it depends on what your it's if you're using your UCLA logon, it's the same system. It's the shibboleth logon, the authentication system. So whatever password you have with that is what you would be using to log in if you're logging in that way. If you're logging in with a guest account, you get to create your own password. So you'll create your own custom password. If you want to use the same one, you can do so, or you can create a new one just for this system. So for a guest account process, it's possibly no, but for the Bruin logon, it's your same login password and login ID that you would already use for UC Path.
So I think that was all the questions on the chat, but I'm going to unmute participants. So if you have a question that did not get answered or you didn't get a chance to type it in, we're going to give it a shot and try to unmute everyone. I will mute everyone if it gets to be too loud. But if I do ask that if you have very specific questions to your situation, that you can email us at emeriti@errc.ucla.edu, and we will forward your email to parking. So we want to use the time as general as possible to answer more people's questions about parking, especially since we have a lot of new retirees that are on this call who may not have had a permit that's been from active staff to now retired staff.
Brian, I have a question. Brian, hi. In the past, for a couple of years now, whenever I would log on to the site to look at the new academic year privileges, sometime after, it was always after July, they were never there. And finally, I was told I had to go into the office, and they said, oh, well, it won't be until like maybe August. So my question is, with things being so fluid now with COVID, how will we get, or when do you expect things to be actually posted?
Oh, sorry, Brian.
Hello?
So
I'm sorry?
it's yes. So we're, again, given the situation, I don't know if I can commit to a date, and I apologize for that. I will say, though, that our privileges were posted on our website as a PDF. That is in the process of review to see if we can find the right format for that moving forward, to make it sort of easier for and more customer friendly for people to be able to look up their privilege. And it is going to be online. And we're currently looking at possibly sort of simplifying it in a way so that it's easier to look information up on your permit privilege. And we're hoping to get everything online relatively soon in the near future, and specifically in the month of July, on the website, and have everything updated then. Our goal is to try to get it done as soon as possible. Full disclosure, for the last 2 months, things have been a little crazy. So we had originally intended for everything to be online already, and we knew how we were getting everything online, but things sort of changed because of the situation. But it should be online moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brian, this is Raymond.
Hi, Raymond.
I've held I don't know, there's somebody talking to me. Have had a Blue E for about 19 years. And I pay annually with a check when I get the letter. When can I expect the refund check? Since I've paid from the time the campus closed until the end of the fiscal year.
That is a great question. I know that we have been, the instruction, and admittedly, this is the instruction that we've also been receiving from Central Campus Accounts Receivable, that refunds should be expected up to 30 days after the return to normal operations. And we don't know when normal operations are going to return. Now, I do know that refunds are being processed. I do not know where accounts receivable is on any specific refund. I would be happy to get you into contact with our accounts receivable team to sort of help facilitate that.
Thank you.
So that way we can give you more information.
I see that Margie G has a question.
Yes, I have a question.
Dave Lowenstein.
I go on to my, get to the parking. I'm not as a retiree, I'm still as a staff. And I've been retired since 2007. What can be done for that?
So you're saying when you log in, you're using your Bruin logon, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So please contact our office, because
Okay.
that is a good example of a case where we can update your account to reflect your retiree status.
Okay, because they've been trying to do this every year when I go into the parking, and they've struggled with it. And so that's why I go in to pay parking, because they send me to Bruin Online and they can't fix it. And so I've just lived with it. But now that everything is going through a portal, I can't just live with it.
I think also a lot of times, Margie, your department has to make sure that through human resources that it's in the system that you are retired. A lot of that comes through.
Yeah, I was a MedNet before, and then it changed to just a
Okay.
log on. And they did everything when I left, but when it came to parking, it just did not identify me as a retiree. It's still as a staff.
Okay.
So what we can do in your case is we actually, because of the ePermit system, we gained a lot of functionality to be able to handle individual cases like this on a more direct basis. So we're not quite as, at least for retirees and emeritize, quite as like beholden unto the HR system. In this case, we can actually update your account to reflect your true status. So I would really recommend reaching out to our office and talking to our customer service representative, because they can update your status so that you will become a retiree.
I can do that once I receive my renewal.
Yes.
The only other thing I could do is re-enter myself as a guest.
And it can go either way.
Yeah.
But I recommend, personally, I recommend going through the Bruin logon.
Okay.
Because that connects to your full history.
Yes.
And you'll be able to see a lot of your own history then in terms of your permit history. So that's what I would recommend in most cases. But again, we can update the account directly on a case-by-case basis accordingly to make you a retiree status.
Okay, I'll wait until I get the letter and everything, and then I'll contact the office.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other additional questions?
I have one. Brian, a quick
Yes.
question. You spoke about, I sometimes come on campus to do some work, so I'm there like 2. So you said we can buy 5 days at one time down the road? Would that be correct?
We set up, so that was related to the COVID response. So we did a special permit for COVID because originally when things like, honestly, when we got the announcement to everyone needs to remote work and only essential staff was to stay on campus, we basically turned on our cross parking feature for everyone. But they had to buy daily, and that became really cumbersome. So we had to make some special permits on the fly that were 5-day permits for essential staff and other people. It's not within our normal practice.
Okay. Maybe it's something to think about down the road, though, because I'm sure other retirees like myself who come back twice a week to work on projects, and we don't buy the whole pass.
Mm-hmm.
We just buy it.
It is something that we can explore.
Yeah.
Because we're always looking with this. One of the beauties of the ePermit system is that, one, we have actual data that we can actually show trends now, like where people are parking, where they're not parking, how like where are we heavily impacted, even things like time of day. So we can see what time of day we're actually busy now. Whereas before it was sort of the person who's been here a long time had a best guess because they've experienced a lot. Now we have real data to support some of that we previously didn't have. So because of that, and since we've had 1 year of data collection, we're able to start evaluating other options.
Right.
And as we move forward, we can see what we can and can't do. So it's something we can explore in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I always use the kiosk when I come and just pay. So, you know, I didn't have to go log on to sign in. You know, it's another process. It's just as easier. So I just wanted to throw it out there. That'd be great if we could have that.
Sure thing. We can look into it.
Thank you. Aisha, are you going to put all this in one of the letters, or updates that you send out to the retirees?
Yes, I'm recording this whole session, and it'll take me some time to transcribe all the questions, but I'll make sure it's all uploaded to a PDF and share it with everyone.
The different links. Okay. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, so if no one has any other questions, I'm surprised. I thought we would have a lot more questions. So everyone is unmuted. So if you have any other questions, again, you're more than welcome to email us. I do see one more question that just came through the chat. So if you could answer that one, Brian.
Is this which one?
The emeritized spouse partner. Oh, that was privately, sorry. We do have an emeritized spouse partner whose husband has just passed away and wants to know if they can still get a permit.
Yes, that has not changed.
So would the spouse be eligible for the emeritized permit?
They'll be eligible for a permit. I'm pretty sure they get the same permit.
If they're a spouse.
Yeah, if they're a spouse. If they just passed away.
Okay.
The permit.
The emeritized one or just a general one? There's always a weird gray area when emeritized faculty and their spouse, there's a lot of cross benefits, but if that emeritized spouse passes away, do those privileges then get passed on to the surviving spouse?
So I know they do for the same year. I just don't know if they do for the subsequent year. I can't remember off the top of my head. Forgive me for that, sorry, because there's so many parking rules, even I have to constantly reference them. Again, why we want to simplify them and try to make them a little bit more manageable for everyone involved. I confidently, they take over the same permit for the same year. I'm not positive about subsequent years.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing for us is to kind of wait to see what happens at the end of this fiscal year. I know you said a lot of things are in flux as far as retiree and emeritized parking privileges, both at the medical center and just in general when it comes to getting the portal, the Bruin online parking permit. So as soon as you get communication, I'll definitely share it with everyone. It's definitely been an interesting, challenging summer for everyone. And, you know, we really appreciate the discounts that parking allows our emeritized retirees. And once there's more communication for the new fiscal year in July, we'll definitely share that with everyone. Any other last minute questions?
This is great. I appreciate you putting it together, Aisha.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you,
Bye,
Brian.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Stay well,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Brian. Bye.